Do you feel stuck in your career, unsure how to reach the next level? Are you missing the guidance and opportunities that could propel you forward? Well, January is National Mentorship Month, and today we are going to talk about the power of mentorship and sponsorship in your career. Welcome to the Prescription for Success mini podcast series. I'm Dr. Christy Taylor, career and executive coach and the founder of Worxk Solutions LLC. And today we are going to explore the power of mentorship and sponsorship and how these relationships can be used to transform your career. Mentors, they provide guidance and wisdom, while sponsors actively advocate for you. Both are invaluable for growth and advancement, and you should have a slew of mentors and sponsors around you, not just one. First, let's talk about why mentorship and sponsorship matters. Career success isn't just about your skills, it's all about your relationships. And mentors, they share knowledge, provide perspective, as well as help you to navigate challenges. Now, on the other hand, sponsors, they use their influence to open doors and advocate for you and your advancement. Here's the thing about a sponsor, they are attaching their personal brand to your career success. So a sponsor is somebody that you really have to have proven yourself to and have proven your worth, because that's going to be the person that is really advocating for you, saying your name when you're not in a room. And so it's almost like you have to have a certain level of loyalty to that individual and have gone out of your way to really just proven your work ethic and that you can deliver on what they are advocating for in terms of helping you get to the next level in your career. Because we talk so much about personal career brand. So think about it. As you build your own career brand, you're going to be careful with that. So the people that you quote unquote sponsor or mentor, you're attaching your brand to that person. So you want to make sure that that individual is going to be able to live up to this thing that you're advocating for them for, this job or this next level project or task. Now, both of these roles are going to be critical, but each of them, they do serve a different purpose, as I kind of pointed out to you. So I want to start by talking about finding the right mentor. And as I mentioned earlier, January is mentorship month. So this is a great time to start at the beginning of the year. Find someone who you can really connect with and who's going to be able to support you in your career growth. This is kind of like a person that you can go to ask questions or get guidance. So when it comes to finding a mentor, you have to start by identifying what you need guidance on. First of all, your skills, leadership, or navigating a specific industry. And you want to look for someone whose experience aligns with your actual goals. A mentor doesn't have to be in your company. They could be a professional in your network or even someone that you admire in your industry. And so when you approach a potential mentor, you need to be clear about what you're reaching out for and what you're hoping to gain from the experience. Oftentimes, the relationship with a mentor is not going to be mutually beneficial because you're actually asking that person for assistance. And so that person is stepping in to share their expertise and their guidance. So when you speak out or reach out to your mentor or potential mentor, you want to use this type of verbiage. For example, I admire you, how you built your career in project management, and I'd love to learn more about your approach to leadership. So be very clear about what you want when you are seeking to connect with the mentor. Now, on the other hand, let's talk about sponsorships. Having this community around you is going to be so important. Remember, run yourself like a business. Businesses have boards. You want to have a group of people around you that's sort of your like advisory board. This is the brand of you. So building these sponsorship type of relationships. Sponsorship is about more than advice. It's actually about advocacy. Because remember what I said is that person is attaching you to their personal brand. A sponsor is going to be typically someone in a leadership position who can advocate for your promotions or your opportunities. I like to say you want to get to know at least two levels up in your organization. Your manager, who's their manager, or somebody outside of your quote unquote chain of command, at least two levels up, people who can really speak to you and what you can do and bring to the table. Um, I used to say, here's a good example. I wanted to be a dean. There would be no need for me to the department chair could serve as my mentor, but if I wanted to be a dean, I needed to not only know who the deans were, but who were the VPs in academia. So because those were going to be the who would be the vice president of academic affairs or the provost, the people who could slide me into those roles when opportunities became available. So make sure you're getting to know people at the right level. A sponsor is, again, typically someone in a leadership position who can advocate for your promotions or your opportunities. This might be a person who is advocating for you to be on a special project because they know your potential. But it's not just, the sponsorship is not just about potential. You have to have had to deliver some results. That person has to know you because, again, they're attaching themselves to your brand. Building this relationship often starts with demonstrating your value, as I just pointed out. And you want to deliver excellent work, be reliable. You need to be able to showcase your potential to leaders who can champion your career. This is your personal board of advisors, people who can speak. I've had this in my center for over 20 plus years, people that I can call on for recommendations, people that when opportunities happen, they simply just send me a email or send me a text like, hey, this opportunity is going to pop up. You should apply. Those are people who are sponsors because those are people who know what you can deliver. They know your worth and they're willing to attach themselves to your personal brand. These are the people that you can use as a reference. These are the people, again, you don't want to let them down because they're attaching you to their personal brand. You need to focus when it comes on building this board of advisors, your sponsors. You need to build relationships that they often start, like I said, with demonstrating your value. So I once had a individual, for example, who introduced me to some high level stakeholders, which helped me to secure a key leadership role. It has really been an important part of my own experience and journey. So we talked a little bit about sponsorship and mentorship, the distinction there. And I want to emphasize to you the importance of you building this, considering yourself as the business of you, building your brand. Who is your board of advisors? These are made up of your mentorship, your mentors, and your sponsors. But remember that these are two distinctive roles. Now, a sponsor can serve as a mentor, but again, you really want that mentor. You want both, but you really want also a mentor that you can have as a sounding board that's not really expecting anything from you, but that person is really just there to truly advise you in a neutral way. Now, when it comes to nurturing these relationships, um, your mentorship and sponsorship, these are two-way streets. In both aspects, you want to show gratitude, respect for their time and their insights. You keep your mentors updated on your progress, seek out their input when facing decisions, because again, your mentors are going to serve more as your advisors. Your sponsors, you want to ensure that your performance reflects positively on them because they are your advocates. They depend on your credibility because again, if they advocate for you for something and you show up, you perform well, that looks good on you. And it also looks good on them. So both of you may end up with a promotion. But if they advocate for you and then you fail to perform or to live up to those standards, then it also impacts their credibility. And it's also going to impact your relationship with that person as well because they're not going to attach themselves to you again. They're not going to advocate for you for anything again. So you need to focus on strengthening these relationships and consistent communication and by showing genuine interest in their advice and feedback. So your sponsor is typically going to be, again, performance focused. They're helping you get to the next level in your career by giving you and providing and advocating for opportunities for you. Now, you need to be open to informal opportunities. Mentors and sponsors, they don't always have to be formal relationships. Informal mentorship can come from colleagues, peers, or even industry events. Now, remember in some of the previous podcasts, I talked about, networking a little bit. When you network with people, it's not just about you giving that 60-second pitch that we talk so much about. You have to learn to weave that into the conversation. And people want to know that you are of value to them. So that's why I always listen and look for a way to solve a problem, right? So even if it's me sending a resource or just following up on that connection, that little follow-up that you did could actually turn into a sponsorship. Because if you solved a problem for this person who you barely knew, this person now, you now have some credibility with that person. And let's say that a project or an opportunity comes up at their company or for maybe a contract that they're working on, they're going to remember what you did for them and how you delivered. Even again, if it was something small, they're going to remember that and they might recommend you. So just don't think of sponsorship in the way of it has to be some large grand thing. I mean, typically you want to have established relationships, but I've seen it happen where again, this person just shows up, solve the problem. You immediately demonstrated your value to that individual. And so that individual maybe recommended you for a project or a program to work on. Now, informal mentorship can come from colleagues and peers, as I mentioned, but you need to stay open to learning from different people in various settings. It adds to your values. And like I said about sponsors, they can emerge organically. And that would be an example where maybe you were networking and you met somebody, listening to them. You just maybe offered advice or said, okay, I'm going to follow up and share this resource with you. I once had I met a director at a conference and she was telling me like, hey, I'm starting this orientation program. I said, that's what I specialize in. I'll share this resource with you that I created, and that'll maybe reduce some time for you. That person, a project pops up, you may never know. That person may bring my name up or remember, me sharing that resource, and I might end up with, a project or a contract, making more money, or so you just never know. So keep those things in mind because it doesn't have to always come in some formal, official format. Now, the other piece of this too, as we talk about National Mentoring Month, you also need to pay it forward. Don't feel like that you can't mentor people. You always have something, some skill to offer, information to share. If you have information to share, that is an asset. And if you know that it can be used to help somebody, that is when you share that information in a way, you're serving as a mentor. So as you benefit from mentorships and sponsorships, you need to consider how you can support other people. The way that we do this is giving back. This is why I do things like the events that I host or all of these communities that I bring together, because so much of it is my way of paying it forward. Now, become a mentor or to someone early in their career or advocating for a colleague who shows promise. Things that are simple as that. That's your way of giving back. Paying it forward is going to strengthen your professional networks. It's also going to create a culture of support and growth because, again, that's the kind of leader that you want to be. As you want to be that same type of leader. Now, I come from a military background, so I'm used to having people who have stepped in and mentored me. And again, a lot of those people have turned into sponsors for me over the years. That is how I've been able to build up my military career and getting prepared as even now I'm in the transition of moving to the next level. Mentorship and sponsorship, these are powerful tools for career growth, offering guidance, advocacy, and opportunities for you. So you need to take time this week to identify a mentor or a sponsor. Just write down the people who are your personal board of advisors when it comes to mentorship, sponsorships, and who are really helping guide you in your career. Again, there's a difference now. Your sponsor can be someone who is a mentor, but typically those are going to be separate because I always tell people to look for at least two levels up in sponsorship when it comes to growing your career, the person that's going to help you get there. And you also want to be able to have someone who is going to neutrally advise you on your career growth. But they can be one and the same. But my recommendation is to take time this weekend to write that down. What are your targets, the things that you really want to do, and then who can help you and support you in getting there. And if you know that there's somebody that you want to sponsor you, here's what my advice. Look for opportunities to win that person over by doing projects and showing them results. Once you get the results, then have a conversation with that person to say, hey, or you can do it ahead of time. It's like, hey, if I get you these results, will you advocate for me for this? I'm going to prove myself to you because you're basically asking them to be your sponsor. But then maybe you can do it the other way of you seek out opportunities to work and collaborate with that person to learn more about them, to deliver and get in front of that person. And then you say, hey, set up a meeting with them and say, hey, I've been able to deliver on this, this, and this. And that's what I've had to do before, again, to be able to move some things along in my own career. So mentorship and sponsorship, these are powerful tools for career growth. They offer guidance, advocacy, and opportunities. And again, I'm telling you to take time this week to kind of really identify your path forward in this process. And if you're ready to take your career even further, one of the things I want you to do is I want you to go to www.worksolutions.com. That's WORXK Solutions. Access our free guides and tools and the resources that we have on the site with helping you to plan your career path. Also, don't forget you can schedule a free consultation with me, as well as I want to encourage you to attend our free workshop that we have coming up on the 23rd of uh, January, which is the Land Your Dream Job in 2025 Prescription for Success, uh, Prescription for Standing Out workshop, where I'm going to talk to you about 10 strategies to help you elevate your career, showcase your strengths, and secure your dream job in 2025. The registration is going to be included in this post, and I look forward to seeing you there. So until next time, keep up the great work. Take some time to map out and identify your career goals and who you would like to sponsor you as well as mentor you. And if you're going to select the sponsor, how can you demonstrate your worth and value to that person? So, Dr. Chrissy Taylor, I'm signing off.